Welcome back to Brick Model Railroader on YouTube. I'm Glenn.
And I'm Kale.
And we have an extremely special video today. As you can tell, we have our Reading T-1 484 sitting in front of us, and behind it, a Reading passenger car and a combine car. And this has been a long time in the making. So this is our first ever steam locomotive product, and not only that, it is our first ever full kit that we're making.
It's our first full kit. It's our first steam locomotive kit. It's a big steam locomotive.
It's a big steam locomotive. I mean, you know, power functions remote for scale. We didn't go small on this one. No, we certainly did not.
We wanted to do something really special.
And this is a very special project, and it has been. Kale and I have appreciated the T1 for a long time before having done this, but you know, in learning all of the, you know, the history of the T1 and you know how they came into being in the first place, and learning about the surviving T1s and what each of those four were used for, it's given us a whole new appreciation for the T1 and producing this kit, and we're extremely excited about it. Being Reading, being fans of the Reading. This is an engine that we both wanted to model for ourselves for a long time, but we figured it would make an amazing first kit for Brick Model Railroader. So we're excited to have it, and excited to, at long last, finally release it for pre-order for the public. So
We're stoked.
Yeah, we're extremely excited.
I'm stoked.
So this has been a long project though, and originally we weren't going to do a T1.
No. We originally had another locomotive in mind.
Mm-hmm. Which one was that? We said it in the article, I think.
That was the nickel plate S2 Berkshire.
Yeah, the 765 for those familiar. We were originally planning to model that locomotive for our first kit, but due to a number of factors, we decided to change our direction here. And the T1 is a little bit closer to home for both Kale and myself. And not that we don't appreciate the nickel plate 284s, and we certainly do, but I think we just kind of decided, due to a number of factors, we just decided to put the project on a shelf for some time and, you know, dive into something that we can appreciate just a little bit more.
We'll probably get back to that engine at some point. It's a really cool engine.
It is. We're committed to making a good model of it, but now is just not the time for it. So this is what we have instead.
This I think was the right engine for us to do as our first model.
I agree. There's a lot to love about the T1, and as you'll learn in the history, which is 20 pages long without pictures, there is the T1's had quite a colorful history from the start to even today, with the four surviving members of the class. So let's talk about some of the features of the T1. I'll say right now, the two cars we just have here for show, we'll go over those in a separate video, which we'll have posted at the same time as we have the T1 posted. So
let's just have them here for reference.
Yeah, they look nice.
They go with the engine.
They do. So let's go over some of the features of the T1. So right off the bat, you can notice the super sharp yellow striping, the yellow handrails and grab irons and details like that. This is the Reading Rambles specific paint scheme.
Yes.
So the difference between this is a brief history of the T1. That after their service life, three of the T1s were used in... three. 2101 was backup. It was never used. So... So, did you read the history?
Yeah. I thought 2123 was the backup.
2102 was used.
2123. Oh, 2123 was a parts engine. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm getting confused here.
21. Anyways, so some of the T1s were used in steam locomotive excursion services on the Reading, which they called the Reading Rambles, and so they used cars like these for those. And so in the Ramble service, they had a little bit more dressed up. So they had the yellow handrails and the grab irons on the front and the steps as well, and more grab irons here on the tender and on the rear. And then the nice stripe down the running boards there. That wasn't the case during their service life. They were a little bit more dressed down, so all of the handrails you see would have been just regularly black, and the stripe along the side would have been missing. But the nice printing on the cab and the tender, that was the same.
Yes.
So this is how we modeled our prototype in the Ramble scheme, because it pops a little bit nicer. The Rambles also featured the silver lining on the tires of the wheels and polished connecting rods as well. But all the printing here is, all of the yellow printing you see is, as well as some of the features in the cab that turned out really well. We have nice printed gauges. So all of these parts are printed directly on the bricks.
Bearing caps.
Yep, bearing caps. So we have SKF bearings on the tender trucks and Timken bearings on the locomotive trailing truck.
Yeah. And some really fine printing too.
Very fine printing.
It's amazing how well it turned out.
Yeah. Wait do you see some of the gauges in the cab?
When I was doing the artwork, I'm thinking, there's no way this is going to print right in this small,
but it did.
Richard did an amazing job.
So this is all done by our friend Richard at Brick Print Studios, and it turned out super well. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the model is just how much the printing. How good the printing looks on this.
Oh yeah, I am so happy with the printing on this.
Absolutely.
It looks so good.
Mm-hmm. We also have other custom parts from our friends at Brick Stuff and FX Bricks. The controller that we're including with the kit is a PFX brick, which does a very good job at coordinating the motors and the lighting and the sound and everything like that. It's a fantastic piece of equipment, and we're really excited to include it in our kit. We also have lights from Brick Stuff. We have I think 5 lights. So we have a headlight, of course.
Inside
cab light, and then a
tender deck light,
and then a rear reversing light.
The
reversing light will come on actually when you reverse the locomotive. The headlight will go off, and the tender light will come on, which is a really nice feature.
And then we have a flickering firebox. Red light.
Yep, that turned out, the flickering amber flame turned out really well. So that's all from Brick Stuff and PF and FX Bricks. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, we also have our own custom parts. The connecting rods I modeled myself, and they're specific to the T1 for a higher level of accuracy. And we are using the drive wheels, the pilot and trailing wheels are all from our friend Nate Brill, and we'd like to thank him right now for allowing us to include his wheels with our kit. He did a great job modeling the box pod drivers, and he did a great job.
Design.
Yeah, excellent design, and you did a great job modeling the pilot and trailing wheels as well, and in different sizes, just to allow us to be able to capture the proportions of the T1 more properly. So all of those custom 3D printed parts will actually be being produced on our own 3D printer. It's currently on order, and we'll be getting it here in the next probably month and a half or so. November, sometime in November, which is our projected date for starting to assemble the kits.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's some of the features of T1, and of course, you'll be able to operate the locomotive using your Power Functions remote or your Bluetooth-enabled smart device if you prefer. We will include with the PFX brick does include capabilities for both Bluetooth operation and IR and LEGO infrared. We will include the infrared receiver for the PFX brick in every kit, because it is a little nicer to use a dedicated controller rather than your phone. It does work a little bit better, but for those of you
you don't have to open up your phone every time you want to change that.
But for those of you who may prefer using your phone, it does work. It does work very well too, and you can still control all of the lights and all of the sound from either remote.
They both have their advantages and disadvantages.
They do.
A lot of it is personal preference, but we're giving you the option to use both.
So with the T1, we're also including quite a list of optional extras to allow the customer to select the T1 kit that they want the most. So that will include, you'll be able to purchase any one of the 30 T1s that have been that were made, numbered 2100 through 2129. Those will be available in the Reading Freight scheme, which doesn't have the polished rods or the yellow handrails and grab irons and such, or the stripe down the side. But it still looks like it's still a fantastic looking locomotive, and it's a very fitting freight locomotive.
If you want to model the locomotive in freight service, that's the one you want.
If you have a long line of Reading hoppers, which would be extremely appropriate behind this locomotive, that would be a fantastic thing to have behind a Reading freight locomotive. So 2100 through 2129 will be available in the Reading Freight scheme, and that will be you'll be able to tell us all of these options on the order sheet, which will be sent to you after you tell us basically that you'd like to order one. We'll go over the ordering process in a little bit. The Reading Ramble scheme, which you see here, which will be available for locomotives 2100, 2101, 2102, and 2124. Those were the 4 surviving locomotives that were used during the Rambles in one way or another. And it also included in that will have of course, the lined drivers and the painted rods. The painted rods will be an optional add-on for the Rambles locomotives specifically. You'll also be able to purchase a completely unlettered and unstriped locomotive, so it'll basically just be completely plain looking tender and plain looking locomotive for if you would like to purchase the locomotive just for the sake of having it and possibly making maybe the American Freedom Train or the Chessie Steam Special, which
or your own livery.
Or your own, yeah. It's the option is there. We'll also have the opportunity to have a powered and a non-powered version, and beyond that, include a battery and not include a battery. A lot of people who would be interested in this kit probably would, have their own batteries like us, and like a lot of other people we've talked to who are interested. A lot of people will have their own batteries, so we didn't want to force anyone to purchase a battery which may not need it.
Yeah, they'll have their own battery. Possibly have your own battery or your own controller. So
so
if you don't need that.
The controller will also be an optional extra as well. And then beyond that, we'll have the option to add sound or to leave it out, and lights or no lights as well. So you'll be able to really specify your T1 kit to how you would like to have it, and maybe bring it down in cost a little bit, which of course will help as well. So we have quite a list of options that'll all be specified on the specification sheet, which will be sent to anyone who is interested in buying one. Did mention that the cars will be
in a separate
video. Yep, we'll be going over those very soon. They did turn out very well. Kale did a really good job on these cars. We'd also like to thank Penlug, I guess former Penlug member.
He's still a member.
He's still a member.
He's been busy with.
He's been busy. Yeah. We'd like to thank Penlug member Josh Sanders for loaning us his cars and giving Kale the inspiration to model our own, basically from the ground up. But Josh did a really good job on his own Rambles cars many years ago. And
if you've seen some of our previous videos of the T1, it's probably been pulling his Rambles cars.
But now we have our own.
Yes.
They're updated. They have a completely updated design, use bearing wheel sets and everything. The interiors are accurate, and it turned out really well. So we'll talk about those more in a little bit. The order process now, I guess.
Yes.
So basically what will happen is that the T1 and the cars at the same time will be listed for pre-order on our website on October 4th, which is a Friday. They'll be listed for sale on October 4th. What will happen is that anyone who is interested in purchasing one will basically add it to their cart and place the order, but no money will be exchanged. And so we'll get the notification email and then be able to contact the customer, and we'll be sending them the specification sheet and requesting a payment upon return of the completed and signed specification sheet. So once you send that in, you'll be obligated to, put the payment down, and we'll be able to start acquiring the parts and assembling your T1 kit. Once the kit is fully assembled and ready to ship, the buyer will send the remainder of the payment and shipping cost, and then we'll send it on our way. And we wanted to do that just so that kind of streamline it a little bit, and rather than having to put a million options on our ordering page on our website, it would be easier to just have a paper copy, and that would allow us to have a very nice reference in assembling your kit to make sure that you get the very locomotive that you specified for us. It makes things easier for us, easier for the buyer as well. So, like I said, those will be available. All of this will be available for pre-order on Friday, October 4th.
Yes.
And then following which we'll be able to assemble the kits and send them on. After we send the kits, we're excited to say that we'll be donating to the American Steam Railroad, which is a group that has been an absolutely invaluable resource to Kale and I in modeling the T1.
They are the group currently restoring the real Reading 2100.
We actually had just seen it yesterday at the time of this video.
They're restoring it to full operation.
Out in Ohio.
They'll be steaming hopefully.
Hopefully next year.
Hopefully next year they'll have the firebox completed and be able to actually like boil water, which would be a huge milestone.
It will be. They're cutting no corners on this. Having seen the restoration up close and personal a couple times now for both of us, we can attest to the quality of work that they're putting into the real 2100, and we're very excited to be able to support them through our model of the T1s.
They're a very smart group of people. They're a very talented group of people, and they're very passionate about it.
Absolutely, they're as passionate about 2100 as Kale and I are about producing the model of it. We'd also like to personally thank Mr. Forrest Nace of the American Steam Railroad. He has been pretty much our main contact between us and the rest of the group. He has been he's provided a lot of details for us, and he's provided us access to the 2100 for research purposes, and it's been a real blast to work with him and the rest of ASR as well. And so we'd like to thank him personally in the video. Forrest, if you're watching this, we really appreciate the help. It's been quite an honor to work with you guys.
Yes, thank you, sir.
We really appreciate it. The plan is to close pre-orders in early December. We want to leave pre-orders open for a fair amount of time to allow anybody that would like one to order one, just having it work out best for your schedule for whatever reason.
Timing
and, being able to send the payment in and such. So we wanted to make it work on everybody's level, so we're doing our best here. But the pre-orders will basically be open for roughly 2 months. So you can expect, and we'll obviously announce when the pre-orders close in advance, and then
and we'll probably have updates in between.
Yeah, absolutely, we will. We'll be providing regular updates from the time pre-orders are open to the time pre-orders close, and then to the time that we're shipping kits. The biggest thing for us is making sure that everybody is aware of what we're doing behind the scenes with this locomotive, even though sometimes we have had other things to work on, so we haven't been able to work on the T1 project. We want to be upfront with everybody and make sure that everybody who is involved will know where we stand with everything.
Yeah. And this locomotive has been our only focus for for at least the last month and a half. 2 months.
Yeah, at least 2 months, I would say.
Since and it will be our focus, our singular focus probably into the
next
year.
But we'll get it done. We're dedicated to it, and we're really excited to finally be taking the next step. We did take a long time, and we're aware of that, and we would like to apologize for all of the for taking such a long time. But we have had several delays and setbacks, which we've had to figure out how to overcome or work around.
It is our first kit, first locomotive. It's quite a locomotive to do.
It is.
So
it's a 2200. It's roughly 2200 parts.
2300.
2300. Okay.
2300
parts. So there's a lot going on, but we wanted to take the extra time off the bat to make sure that we delivered the highest quality model that we could, rather than cutting corners and then having problems potentially later down the road. We wanted to do everything right the first time and ship the kit with no problems. And so we feel that we're finally ready to move on with that. So we're very excited about it, and we hope you are too.
Yeah, this being our first kit, our first locomotive kit, we wanted to make sure we do it right and make sure it's special. So I think we took the extra time to do that.
I think we've done a pretty good job. I mean, that looks pretty awesome.
I'm so. I want one.
I want one too. The instructions will be fantastic. Well, I did actually forget to mention that the PFX brick and the lights and the wiring and every detail that you can think of in trying to put this locomotive together will be called out and explained in the instruction book. There is a particular way to set up the PFX brick to work well with the way that we have powered the model, and with the lights and the sound in it as well. We'll explain all of that. We'll explain, of course, the proper setup of the connecting rods and everything to make sure that right out of the box this locomotive will perform with virtually no problems.
It'll perform as well as ours, and ours performs.
Yeah, ours performs very well. And obviously we want to take the steps necessary to make sure that yours does too. We'd like to thank everybody for watching, and if you've been following our progress with the T1 locomotive kit for some time now, we thank you for staying with us. And again, sorry it's taken so long, but we have had a lot of things that we have wanted to do right and from the start. So we're very excited about it, and we hope that you continue to be excited about it like we are. So thank you everybody for watching and all your support. Be sure to follow us here on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Flickr. We have a Brick Model Railroader group on Flickr that has been doing very well, and currently it's October 4th, so you know what that means.
Octrainber.
We're for those, if you're not aware, we run a competition or a building challenge every year in October, which we call Octrainber. So it's basically a month-long challenge, and this year it's we have a pretty good challenge figured out. So you'll want to go to our website and read up about that, and possibly build an entry. We will have prizes, by the way. We will have prizes, so we're excited about that. I guess that's relevant just because we'll be posting this in October.
Yes.
So yeah, there you go. We're online: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Flickr. And check out our website, brickmodelrailroader.com. We'll be posting more, plenty more articles. We'll be posting about Octrainber and progress on the T1, as well as a number of other things. As always, we love writing articles. It's always a blast to be able to share what's going on in the Lego train community with the rest of the world. But we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for watching once again, and for all your support. And this is Brick Model Railroader signing off.